Sammy was a small squirrel with a big fear. He was a curious little creature, always exploring the forest floor. But there was one thing that held him back. He was afraid of heights. The mere thought of climbing up the tall trees made his tiny paws tremble. The tops of the trees seemed so far away, almost like they touched the sky. To Sammy, they were like towering giants. His little heart would race at just the thought of climbing them. The higher he imagined going, the faster his heart would beat. Sammy wished he wasn't scared. He often sat alone, thinking about how different his life would be if he could conquer his fear. He wanted to play with the other squirrels among the leaves. They seemed to have so much fun, leaping from branch to branch, laughing and chattering.
Sammy spent most of his time on the ground. He felt safe there, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of the forest floor. He played with the acorns and chased butterflies. These activities brought him joy, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was missing out on something more. He liked being safe on the forest floor. The soft earth beneath his feet and the rustling leaves made him feel secure. But sometimes, Sammy felt a little bit sad. He would watch the other squirrels high above and wonder what it would be like to join them. He knew he was missing out on the fun high above. The treetops were a world of adventure and excitement, and Sammy longed to be a part of it. One bright and sunny day, excitement filled the air. The animals of the forest were having a grand picnic. It was going to be high up in the trees, on a branch as thick as a giant's table. Everyone was invited: the rabbits, the birds, the chipmunks, and of course the squirrels. The birds sang about it. The rabbits hopped with glee. The chipmunks chattered excitedly, gathering nuts and berries. Every creature in the forest was looking forward to the picnic. Every creature, that is, except Sammy.
Sammy wanted to be happy for his friends. He knew it would be a wonderful picnic, but the thought of climbing so high filled him with dread. He watched the other squirrels scampering up the trees, their bushy tails trailing behind them. Sammy wished he could be as brave as they were.
He sat at the foot of a large oak tree, watching his friends disappear into the leaves. A big sigh escaped his small chest.
"Oh," he whispered to himself, "I wish I wasn't afraid."
Unbeknownst to Sammy, someone had heard his wish. Perched high above on a branch, hidden amongst the leaves, was Oliver the owl. Oliver was very old and very wise. He had seen a lot in his long life, and he knew a thing or two about courage.
Why the long face, little one?
Oliver flew down from his branch and landed softly beside Sammy. Sammy was startled at first, but felt a little bit better seeing Oliver's kind eyes. Sammy explained his fear to Oliver, his voice trembling a little. Oliver listened patiently, nodding his head understandingly. When Sammy was finished, Oliver spoke.
Bravery isn't about not being afraid, Sammy. It's about facing your fears, one step at a time.
Oliver offered to climb with Sammy. He told Sammy to follow him, just one branch at a time. Sammy hesitated for a moment. His heart was still pounding, but Oliver's words gave him a little spark of courage. He took a deep breath and took a small step onto the tree trunk. Oliver flew slowly from branch to branch, always staying close to Sammy. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Oliver's wings flapped gently, creating a soothing rhythm that calmed Sammy's nerves. He encouraged Sammy to keep going, pointing out the beautiful view as they climbed higher. "Look at that, Sammy," Oliver said. "Isn't it amazing how the sunlight filters through the leaves?" Sammy nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. With each step, Sammy's confidence grew. He felt the rough bark under his paws and the cool breeze ruffling his fur. The higher they went, the more he realized how much he had been missing out on. He even began to enjoy the climb. The thrill of adventure filled his heart, and he found himself smiling. "I never knew climbing could be this fun," Sammy thought to himself.
Wow, the world looks so different from up here. The trees looked like tiny bushes, and the forest floor seemed so far away. Sammy felt a sense of accomplishment and wonder.
The world looked different from up high. The vast expanse of green treetops stretched out endlessly, and the sky seemed closer than ever. Sammy could see the whole forest spreading out beneath him like a green and brown carpet. The patterns of the trees created a beautiful mosaic, and he felt a deep connection to the world around him. He could see the river sparkling in the sunlight. It wound its way through the forest like a silver ribbon, reflecting the light and adding to the magical view. For the first time, Sammy realized that being high up wasn't so scary after all. He felt a newfound sense of bravery and freedom. I can do this, he thought. I can reach for the sky. Finally, after what seemed like an endless journey, they reached the top of the hill. The climb had been steep and challenging, but the view from the summit was breathtaking. The forest stretched out below them, a sea of green with patches of colorful wildflowers. The air was crisp and fresh, filled with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. The other animals had already started the picnic. They had laid out a beautiful spread on a large checkered blanket. There were baskets filled with all sorts of delicious treats, and everyone was chatting and laughing, enjoying the sunny day. The aroma of fresh berries and nuts filled the air, mingling with the scent of pine and wildflowers. There were juicy strawberries, plump blueberries, and a variety of nuts, all carefully gathered from the forest. The sight of the food made everyone's mouth water. Sammy, the little squirrel, had never felt so proud of himself. He had always been afraid of heights, but today he had faced his fear and climbed to the top of the hill. The sense of achievement was overwhelming, and he couldn't help but smile. He had faced his fear and reached the top, and now he got to enjoy the picnic with all his friends. The other animals welcomed him with open arms, congratulating him on his bravery. It was a moment of pure joy and camaraderie.
Look, it's Sammy. He made it. The animals were genuinely surprised and delighted to see him. They had all been worried about him, knowing how scared he was of heights.
Way to go, Sammy. They cheered and clapped, their faces beaming with pride and happiness. It was clear that Sammy's achievement meant a lot to everyone.
Come join us, Sammy. They made space for him on the blanket, inviting him to sit down and share in the feast. It was a warm and welcoming gesture that made Sammy feel truly special.
The animals all cheered when they saw Sammy. It was a celebration of not just his bravery, but also the strength of their friendship and community. They knew that together they could overcome any challenge. They made space for him at the table and shared their delicious food. There was laughter and chatter as they enjoyed the meal, each bite tasting better because it was shared with friends. Sammy, the little squirrel who was afraid of heights, had conquered his fear and discovered a whole new world of adventure. He realized that the forest was full of wonders waiting to be explored, and he couldn't wait to see what else was out there. He learned that with a little help from a friend, even the highest heights were within his reach. The support and encouragement of his friends had made all the difference, and he knew that he could always count on them.